You've been told your whole life that a 401k is the safest path to retirement. Your HR department smiled and said, "We match up to 4%. It's free money." And you believe them, because why wouldn't you? But here's what they didn't tell you. That free money comes with strings attached, strings that could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time you retire. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 401k, the retirement vehicle that Wall Street loves, your employer promotes, and nobody fully explains. Let's start with the part everyone celebrates, the employer match. Your company says they'll match 50% of your contributions, up to 6% of your salary. Sounds incredible, right? Here's the catch nobody mentions at orientation. First, vesting schedules. Most companies don't actually give you that matched money right away. There's something called a vesting period, typically 3 to 6 years. If you leave your job before you're fully vested, you walk away leaving a chunk of that free money on the table. In fact, studies show that nearly 1 in 3 employees leave before they're fully vested, which means that employer match, it was never really yours to begin with. Second, the match ceiling. If your salary is $80,000 and your company matches up to 6%, that's a max match of $4,800 per year. Sounds decent, but the IRS allows you to contribute up to $23,000 per year into your 401k. Everything above that 6%, you're on your own. No match, no help, just your money sitting in a system designed for someone else's profit. Now here's where it gets serious. This is the part your financial advisor hopes you never Google: management fees. Every 401k plan charges what's called an expense ratio, a percentage of your total balance taken every single year to pay for fund management. The average 401k expense ratio in America sits between 0.5% and 2% annually. That sounds small. It isn't. Let's do the math. Say you have $500,000 in your 401k at age 45. You plan to retire at 65. That's 20 years of growth. Assume a 7% average annual return. With zero fees, your $500,000 grows to approximately $1.93 million. With a 1% annual fee, it grows to $1.61 million. With a 2% annual fee, $1.34 million. That's a difference of nearly $600,000. Gone. Not to the market, not to taxes, to fees. Quietly, automatically, every single year. And here's the worst part. Those fees are charged on your total balance, not just your gains. Bad year in the market? You still pay. Portfolio down 20%? You still pay. The fund managers get theirs no matter what happens to yours. Let's talk about the enemy nobody sees coming: inflation. The Federal Reserve targets 2% inflation per year, but over the last decade, we've seen spikes of 7%, 8%, even 9%. Here's what that means for your retirement account in plain English. The $1 million you're counting on at age 65, at just 3% average inflation over 30 years, that $1 million will only have the purchasing power of about $400,000 in today's money. You saved $1 million, you can only spend $400,000 worth. And most 401k plans, especially those heavy in bond funds or money market accounts, don't keep pace with real inflation. They're designed for stability, not growth, which sounds safe until you realize that safe in a world of rising prices actually means slowly losing ground. The retirement calculators your HR department uses, they assume a smooth, comfortable 2% inflation rate. They don't model the grocery bills, the medical costs, the housing prices that retirees actually face. You're being planned for a world that no longer exists. Here's the twist that catches almost everyone off guard. Your traditional 401k is tax-deferred, not tax-free. You don't pay taxes on the money going in, but every single dollar you pull out in retirement, taxed, is ordinary income. And here's the real problem. You're betting that your tax rate in retirement will be lower than it is today. Maybe it will be, but maybe it won't. The U.S. national debt is over $34 trillion. Tax rates have historically gone up, not down, during periods of high debt. There is a very real possibility that by the time you retire, income tax rates will be higher than they are right now, which means you deferred your taxes into a future that could be more expensive than today. And it gets worse. At age 73, the IRS forces you to start withdrawing from your 401k, whether you need the money or not. These are called required minimum distributions, or RMDs. Even if the market is down, even if you're not ready, the government decides when you start spending your own money. So what do people who actually build generational wealth do differently? They don't ignore the 401k entirely. They use it strategically. Step 1. Take the match always. If your employer matches, contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's still the best guaranteed return available. But don't stop there, and don't assume the match is a retirement plan. Step 2. Prioritize a Roth IRA alongside it. A Roth IRA grows tax-free. You pay taxes on the money going in, but every dollar you withdraw in retirement, tax-free forever. The 2024 contribution limit is $7,000 per year, or $8,000 if you're over 50. Max it out before dumping extra into your 401k. Step 3. Obsess over expense ratios. Inside your 401k, you have a choice of funds. Choose index funds with the lowest expense ratios possible. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all offer funds with expense ratios below 0.05%. That's not 1%, not 2%, 0.05%. Over 20 years, that difference alone could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Step 4. Think beyond the account. Real estate, index funds in a brokerage account, building a business. The wealthy don't put all their retirement eggs in one government-controlled basket. They build multiple streams, multiple asset classes, multiple layers of protection. Look, the 401k isn't evil, but it's also not the complete retirement solution you were sold. It's a tool, and like any tool, it can build something great or do serious damage depending on how you use it. The fees are real, the inflation risk is real, the tax uncertainty is real. But so is the power of knowing the truth before it's too late. You work too hard for your money to let Wall Street quietly take a third of it in fees and inflation, while you're busy trusting a system that was never fully explained to you. Start asking harder questions. Read your plan documents. Check your expense ratios tonight. Open that Roth IRA this week. Because the best time to fix your retirement strategy was 20 years ago. The second best time, right now.